of thought.
Get ready.
The Prophet of Thought series.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host X, of course, but you know that's why you are here tonight. We got a very special show for y'all tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about, as you can see in the title, we're going to be talking about dead brothers on trial. We have Dr. Miles, PhD, in the house tonight, and he specializes in talking about these kind of things. He's actually going to be called as an expert witness in the John case, Botham John case, the brother who just got killed out there in Texas by this white police officer. And what he specializes in is he talks about how the police, the authorities, the white power structure, the government, the court system, and everybody else often criminalizes and these young black men who get shot in the street. Y'all have seen it all. Y'all have seen the Trayvon, seen the Eric Gone, Orlando Castile. Y'all seen the Laquan McDonald's. Y'all have seen all these people. Hey, what's up, Lady Ruby? I see you up there. Y'all have seen all these cases, and y'all oftentimes we always see, what do we see? We talk about how much drug had in their system and had if they was on weed, whatever, you know, if they were smoking a K2 or whatever the case may be. They always have a tendency to put the dead black brother on trial. So tonight we have Dr. Miles in the house, and he is going to be talking about these things. And also we're going to have I'm hoping to have 3 or 4 mothers of victims tonight. We're going to have Miss Monteria Robinson, I believe. Also, we're going to have Miss Cass Outley, I believe her name is. So not only are we going to have the doc in the house tonight, we're also going to have some ladies in the house that also have had their sons killed, and thing where they actually put dead black brothers on trial after their deaths. First and foremost, I want to thank my contributors. I got quite a few donations last week. Last week was a good week. Those of you who donated to T.P.O.T, you know who you are, because I always sit down and write, let you know that I appreciate, you hard-earned damn money on T.P.O.T, but you choose to do so. So I want you to know that I thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm humbled and honored that you wish to spend your hard-earned money So with that, I thank you. So without further ado, the doc is in. Dr. Miles, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, Mr. Xavier. How you doing this evening?
I was just telling the folks, I was just introduced. I don't know if they can hear you. Can
Okay.
can y'all hear? Put one up there if you, because y'all know T.P.O.T. We got these ghetto ghosts. They be messing up sometime. Can y'all hear the doc?
Okay.
Can y'all hear the doc talking? Put one in the chat if you can hear the doc. Anything.
Oh goodness.
They say it's kind of
You can
choppy.
hear me okay, right?
Yes, I can hear you, doctor. How about now, y'all? I'm trying to bring his volume up. How about now, y'all? Okay. They said it's very, very low. So you might have to speak up a little bit, Doc, because they said they can barely hear you.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me a little better?
Can y'all hear him now? The doctor now. I don't need these phone lines messing up tonight. I actually got them to work.
Absolutely. So much to share with you. Maybe it's a conspiracy. Somebody trying to mess with us.
Well, you know what happens? This is the thing, Doc. Every time I have like a doctor, like a real doctor in the house, I always have problems. Now, if I have some old pseudo freaking doctor who's got his degree, got his degree from one of them online universities, everything is fine. Yeah, everything's fine. But as soon as I get a real doctor in the house, that's when stuff start messing up. But yeah, they say they can hear it a little.
I'm not surprised.
They said they can hear you a little bit.
I'm not surprised.
They said they can hear you a little bit.
Okay, definitely I want to share this information. Let me try one thing real quick. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yep, I can hear you. You probably
Can you
just.
hear me a little better?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better. A little better, Doc.
All righty, let's go with it.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
Well, I was just telling the folks, Doc, that often when brothers find themselves, dead on the side of the street by a policeman's bullet,
Yes.
often they are demonized, and not only are they demonized, they're criminalized. Their criminal record is brought up all the time, more than not. Whether or not they had drugs in their system, whether or not they smoked weed, even how many times they served in detention in high school. Why do you think that is, doctor? Why do you think that is?
Well, you brought up a great question, Mr. Xavier, and this is something a long time. And it's called, and basically, black marketing is a tactic. It's a weaponization tactic used in marketing and PR. And now we have social media. And what it is to weaponize any negative imagery or negative content about you, and weaponize it and use it to your advantage, especially if you're a victim of a police shooting. And the Trayvon Martin case is a classic textbook case on how to engage in black marketing. And the reason that you use it is because you're trying to put a bad light on the victim, to diminish the victim in the eyes of the public, and thus potential jurors that will sit on the jury. This is like a long-term strategy. This is very serious. Very serious.
Well, let me ask you this, Doc. If you say it's a long-term strategy, for potential jurors, do you think that's part of the reason that if by the strange off chance that one of these cops actually gets indicted, arrested, and goes to trial, do you think that is the reason? Is that the reason why a lot of them get off? Is that part of the reason?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you have to understand, Mr. Xavier, this is a long-term strategy. It's like you're not playing checkers, you're playing chess. So what they do is, let me give you an example. Let me give you some classic things that they did in the Trayvon Martin case. You tell me if you've seen this. Even most recently with the Batham Jean shooting with the Amber Guy. Let me tell you what some of the things they did. They used social media against Trayvon Martin. They retrieved images that he had with him with gold teeth and used that to criminalize him. They used old Twitter tweets that he used. They used that. They put that in the media. Next thing they did was they criminalized the victim, meaning they put bad, negative content about him, anything about him. Then they used something called deflection. If anything that he did good, they want to deflect from it. They want to deflect to him, to his character, and make him seem like he's a bad guy, criminalize him. Okay? They did other things. They lied about Trayvon Martin. They created fake lies that he was tied into right-wing radical groups. They tried to say he was linked. They said that he was a drug dealer. And then we talking about a classic textbook case of black marketing, and they're doing similar things to the Jin case and here and now. And they do it because they're trying to persuade the public of court opinion, and they also use this to help dissuade or have any potential juror that sit on the jury that they pick. We know how they pick the jury, and there's a big controversy about that. You can't tell me those people did not see the really, really wanted in Trayvon Martin case. Okay? They also did things like, if you got these school records, Trayvon Martin supposedly got in trouble in school. He got suspended. They leaked his school records, his disciplinary records. They also leaked that he's one of the disciplinary things was that he got caught with I think marijuana pipe or something, was suspended from school. They strategically leaked all that to the media to make him look a certain way. Okay? And this is the thing. We have to be careful about what we believe in the media because the media is manipulated. Okay? It's manipulated and it's made to sway your opinion a certain way. And that's what they do.
When you say manipulate, now they're basically doing this for the benefit of white people, right? They're demonizing black people in front of white people, right? That's what's going on. Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
Because they don't really give a damn.
Let me add something real quick.
Go ahead, Doc.
Let me add something real quick, Mr. Xavier. Just think of it like a movie. I can make a person look bad in the movie. I can make them look good. They may not be either one, but it's like when you're dealing with somebody's image and using black marketing, it's like a movie. And I can make that person be a villain. I can make that person be a hero, or whatever I choose. Whatever I choose to do is I'm going to make it stick. And anytime you have a high-profile criminal case, it's always those two things. Somebody's a hero and somebody's a villain. Now you talk about what, say, the Trayvon George, who's the villain? Trayvon Martin. That's what they did. And they do the same thing over and over with these cop shootings. It's to tell a story and pick a victim and pick the hero, the villain and the hero, and that's what they do.
Well, let me go against the grain a little bit, Doc. Do you believe? But don't we kind of play a part in that when we don't find ourselves on these juries? Do you think that if we were on these juries and these cops happen, even the grand jury, because if something goes in front of the grand jury, right, they make the decision whether or not to indict or not. If there was more of us on the grand juries, forget the trial juries, if more of us were on the grand juries, maybe we would see more indictments and arrests, would we not?
I totally agree. The justice system can be rigged. And you bring up an excellent point. And I don't know if you remember
Yes.
Excuse me,
Yep.
they went out of their way to strike out black jurors. And they did that for a reason. Now think about the recent case of Bill Cosby, okay? Were there any black jurors on that case?
Wow.
I doubt it. And when you have a certain community of people, they have a certain conception of African Americans. And they really don't want you on the jury. That's why you have them discount jurors that will be probably potential good jurors. They'll say something like he was involved in a radical group. They can make up things just to get you off the jury. And they do that at the grand jury level. They also do it after that to make sure they minimize African Americans being on juries. And the O.J. Simpson case where he was acquitted, that was a classic landmark case for them how to not let that happen again. Okay? And they're doing it over and over, and they make sure that we keep African Americans off of grand juries. And you bring up an excellent point.
Well, couldn't we combat that if we just flooded those jury selection processes and made it so they wouldn't have any choice but to have some of us on there because they only get X amount of strikes. They can only strike X amount of people, right? So if there's so many of us in there, I mean, they can only strike out so many of us, Doc. So some of us will still be on those juries.
Absolutely, and you have to also remember, Mr. Xavier, they'll use things like if you ever had been arrested, that it's almost like they do the victim. They're looking for things to strike you off the jury, and we have to be vigilant and making sure that we're being part of the judicial process. Because you remember something, juries and all that stuff, they're trained to pick jurors. They actually train attorneys to pick jurors. They bring in consultants. And they can strike, they go out of their way to make sure that African Americans are not on the jury, especially when it's a crime involving, say, someone of another ethnicity and African American. Wow. They learned so much from the O.J. Simpson trial not to make that mistake again. So you bring up an excellent point.
Wow. So I know that you do a lot of public speaking events. A lot of people probably don't know who you are. So won't you just tell the folks who you are, Doc? Because a lot of people see, I know who you are because I researched you, but a lot of the folks don't know who you are. So won't you just tell the folks who you are?
Sure. I'm a D.Anthony Miles. I'm a award-winning researcher, statistician, legal expert witness, marketing expert, best-selling author. Been in my game of what I do. I've been in it for about 20 plus years. And I have a consulting practice, mouth development industries, and I consult on startup ventures. And my clientele are professional athletes and high net worth individuals and lottery winners. And that's pretty much what I do. And I also do a lot of media interviews, especially when you bring me in for content such as yours about injustices in the media, especially in the African American community. I do also research on gentrification, how African American the inner city community some of the strategies, and I also talk about common strategies against gentrification. And that's what I do. That's my story. I'll stick to it.
Well, are you willing to take a few questions, Doc, from the audience? Are you willing to take a few?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Love questions.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, Lady Ruby wants to know, how can those in rich, all-white neighborhoods be considered the unbiased peers of those in poverty-stricken Black neighborhoods?
How can people in all-white neighborhoods be unbiased in convicting Black people? That was her question.
They be considered to be unbiased peers of those people in poverty-stricken Black neighborhoods. They're not, right? They're not. They're
really
not.
That's hard. That's really hard. And you have to understand something, Mr. Xavier. You ever heard of a movie called Birth of a Nation?
Yes.
It came out in early 1900s.
Yes.
Well, you still have people that believe black people are savages. And that movie, movies, you have to be really careful with movies, because movies are subliminal, they send messages. And you still, I'll tell you what happened to me on the plane. We still have white men who believe that black men cannot resist themselves and chasing after their women. I was flocked back from a conference in New Orleans. I'll never forget this. And I was sitting on the plane, and I was sitting on the end, and a guy and his wife had seats next to me, and she was originally sitting next to me. He saw me sitting there because I was on the far right by the window. He immediately sits next to me and puts her by the aisle so I wouldn't be next to her. And wow. That's the kind of stuff we're dealing with here in America, okay? It's sad. It's really sad. It's laughable, but it's sad at the same time. Yeah. Why would he do that?
And here you are.
I was dressed nice. I had on a sport coat. I looked like a doctor. That's what I do.
And
he was dressed in jeans. He looked like, he's a working class kind of guy, him and his wife or whatever. And why would he think that? You know why he thought that? Because that's ingrained in some people's psyche that black men cannot keep their hands away from white women despite what's put in the media. That is an overreaching stereotype.
Yeah.
Okay? And people project stereotypes. And if we're talking about innocent situation like that on the airplane when I'm flying back to my home in Texas, what do you think people do when they're in juries in their communities? It's always ethnicity first and character second. Right? Is that how we judge? Right? And if one black person does something, they project that on all of us. You see, I told you about them people. They're just a savage race of people. And that's what we have to deal with. So her question is understandable, but it's pretty much self-explanatory at the same time. How are you going to be unbiased about something when you're ingrained with those type of beliefs about a certain segment of society and a certain ethnic group of people? Using a PhD in school, it's actually racism in the colleges and universities. Oh, yeah. And when you see brilliant people like yourself that go to college and extremely smart, you got professors that just can't believe, how can a black person be brilliant like that? I don't believe it. How can you don't have it? It's not in your DNA. People are so intellectually challenged. How people, that's how you can't change what a person thinks. You can only change what you do. So that was a good question, but I think we both know the answer to that, right?
Yep. I got another question for you, Doc, from Zero Kelvin. He wants to know, are you working on building any lobbying groups to help push this agenda at all?
In terms of black marketing or that, I'm trying to find out what he means.
I think so. I think that's where he's headed with that question.
That's actually a great idea. I had not considered that. I probably will consider that before I call, because let me tell you what I think they should do, Mr. Xavier. I think they should not have all white juries. They should not have all juries with one ethnicity. It should be more of a racialized balance, because we already know the answer to the question when we have a certain all-white jury, especially if someone's being convicted that's not a person of their same. That's pretty much self-explanatory who they're going to find guilty, right? So I think you should have a more balanced racial component. But you have to understand something. People don't like diversity that want to maintain dominance, which is what white supremacy is. They want to maintain an advantage. And that's their advantage is to have all white juries, right? And if there's somebody black that's involved, even if you got proof you to commit the crime, it's their decision to convict you, and that's what usually happens. And sad to say, and I was really surprised and shocked, but I wasn't when I heard the verdict on the Bill Cosby sentencing. I was shocked. I didn't think they would give them was it 3 to 10 years?
Yeah.
And that was, what does that say to us? Look, everything has a message to it. What's the message here? We can take anybody, no matter how rich they are, if they black, we can get them. We did it to Michael Jackson. We did it to OJ. We did it to Bill Cosby. And he's not the last one. I'm waiting for the next one. Okay? I'm waiting for the next one.
Because there will be more. There will be more.
There will be more.
And it will.
Because that's what they do here in America. And I was talking to one of my colleagues here about these hurricanes and all of these things that we're having, here in the United States. That's God talking. God is sending a message about people need to get right. Okay? And hurricanes and all this weather, and I was saying saw another interview. People all of a sudden forget about being racist when people are in a storm where they got to come together and work together. All that racism goes out the window. When you talk about survival, all that stuff goes out the window. Okay? And when people start working together and have to work together for the benefit of all, that's what stops racism. But then when everything, you stay over there and we stay over here, and if this country doesn't get their act together, we're going to have a Roman Empire. This thing with white supremacy and racism and this new millennium is going to have to stop. Okay? That's outdated. Just dealing with people by race. It is totally outdated.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I'm down in the South. I'm in North Carolina. And, we just got hit.
Oh my goodness.
We just got hit by a hellified storm.
Indeed.
And,
Yes,
fortunately, I live in an area that wasn't hit that bad. I mean, we had a little flooding, but, I didn't have to leave my house or nothing like that. But, not too far away from here, though, people did. They had to leave their house. They didn't have running boats. People got killed. Some people got electrocuted. Trees fell on people and all that kind of stuff went on down here. And one thing I seen often on the news was black folks, white folks, yellow folks, all together trying to survive, trying to build, trying to live, trying to get away, trying to save folks. Okay, it wasn't like it was all black people or all white people or all Latino people. It wasn't. It was a mixture of everybody trying to save every. Once something like that happens, like you said, Doc, once tragedy strikes, people sure have a way of not to see color. Okay. If you drown it in your house, you don't care that I'm black and I'm pulling up with that boat to save you.
Exactly. You proved my point. Exactly what I'm. Why does it take such extreme situations to make people do right and act right? I don't know. Racism. This is what I say all the time. Racism not only hurts the victim, it also hurts the perpetrator. It causes you to make bad decisions. It causes you some type of detriment, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. So you want to stick to that ideology. That's a psychotic, psychopath behavior. Why do you believe that you're better than somebody because you have a certain skin color? That here in the United States, and it's been going on, not in the United States, it's been perpetrated throughout the world. And racism not only hurts the perpetrator.
Yep.
But ultimately it does, absolutely.
Yep.
So we got ignorance. And then I was also going to mention something to you that I was research on the movie Black Panther. I'm going to hope to get to see you up in North Carolina. Definitely want you to come see me. Did you know that they was trying to sabotage the movie Black Panther by using black marketing tactics? Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm really surprised at all. I'm not.
I was probably, I was like I was surprised at first when I thought about it. I was like, there's somebody evil to go protest the movie and go put bad stuff on social media to try to sabotage the movie so people don't go see it. I mean, I was stunned, but absolutely.
Well, it's not to imagine that people don't want to see a big old group of black folks in a positive light, where you have a black hero, you have a black civilization that's doing well, that's powerful, and we're used to seeing the villain being black. We're used to seeing a black villain, but we're not used to seeing a black hero, a black person who rules over this fantastic, prosperous society. What, are you kidding me? These people are black. That's not true.
And you have to understand something, baby. Look at where how the black, the genesis of the Black Panther, and what it's targeting.
Hello, Miss Tilson.
Hello.
Yes, it is.
Hello, Miss Tilson. You who don't know, this is Mrs. Her son was killed in March, I believe, inside of a jail. Is that right, Mrs. Tilson?
Yes, in the Rockdale County Jail in Conyers, Georgia.
And let me go ahead and introduce you. Doc on the line, Dr. Miles. Damn, where's that noise coming from? Dr. Miles on the line. He was meet up a little bit. So won't you go ahead and tell your story, Mr. Tilson, now that I got you here?
Okay. First, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to your show.
Absolutely.
My son, Charlie Tilson, was 22 years old. And criminal started he was trying to get his company off the ground, Urban Perspective, and he started Urban Perspective while he was a full-time student, and he was at a state house in Ireland, and he came here in September because my husband had a stroke in June. So his father had a stroke in class he was taking. So he left to go back to Providence, Rhode Island, to school the first week of July. And then in September, he decided to come back. He was going to take her off because he wanted to help take, he wanted to be a part of it. He wanted to help his father get. So he left school and he quit his job and he came back to Georgia in September. He died in March at the Rockdale County Jail. Charlie had, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar at the age. Charlie was having a mental health crisis, and he went to an apartment building, which we lived right around the corner, and our daughter lived down the same street. But when Charlie came back, we needed a bigger house. So we moved into a house literally like a half a mile from where we used to live. So Charlie was on his way to his sister's house, but he ended up at our old apartment building, knocking on the door of our old apartment, which was vacant. No one even lived there. And we heard the 911 call. The man across the hall, and he knew who Charlie was. and he called the police. He was drunk, you know, he was knocking, he was banging on the door. And, you know, whose house was it his? And he said, no, it's vacant. So we believe by the way it sounds, Charlie was confused. He was going home. And, the door lived. And onto the scene, Charlie was outside the apartment building. So they arrested Charlie. They took Charlie to the Rockdale County Jail where he was for, and that still hasn't been confirmed. He was really in the jail for 9 days. But Charlie was held for the first 2 days without bond for 2 misdemeanors, which was a disorderly conduct and obstruction of justice. He didn't have a criminal record. First, where he was held without bond. Then when he finally got a bond, his bond was $6,000. And then the bond increased from $6,000. And we never had any phone calls from Charlie. We never were allowed to visit Charlie. Every time we called the jail, they told us he was on restriction or he was in the hole. It was always, you know, a different excuse on why we couldn't visit him. So my husband and I went to jail and wanted to speak with someone there to find out what called home, why we weren't allowed to visit. He told us when Charlie first came in, his first couple of days, his behavior was erratic. And that day, he just started coming around, which was a Friday. And we weren't allowed to visit him that day because the pod, or whatever they called it, he was being housed. The visit day was Monday and Wednesday. So, you know, that wasn't his visit day. We could come back and see him on Monday. That Monday, our daughter called the jail. She was okay and told her he couldn't have a visit. And then it was about 1:30 Tuesday morning.
Wow. And do you have a cause of death? I mean, is there a cause of death? What was?
Yeah, we do have a cause of death. And I just want to say this, and I have never felt comfortable with death that they've given us. They said Charlie died from severe dehydration.
That's it.
With the dehydration, they said clot in his leg and in his lungs. And then Charlie also had a severe head injury. He had a bruise to the front of his brain, which caused the blood to pool to the back of his head. The way from the GBI explained it to us, the blood pooled to the back of his head, which was going down to the spinal cord area or something like that. I can't remember exactly, you know, how he described it to us, but, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Severe dehydration when jail. And they told us Charlie was in a suicide cell, which they were required to do 15-minute checks on him. So how does someone die of severe dehydration supposed to be being watched every 15 minutes of the additional sense to us?
Well,
My goodness.
so was his death ruled? Was it ruled a homicide, or what was it ruled? Was it ruled a homicide?
No, it hasn't been. Shawty's case is in the hands of the Rockdale County District Attorney, Alicia Johnson. And Alicia Johnson is reviewing the case. She hasn't ruled anything yet, and she determined if they were going to file, if criminal charges are going to be brought against anyone in Shawty's death. And I also want to shed some light. I don't know if you had a chance to Google Shawty.
Yes, I have.
Research what has been going on in the case lately. Monday, Sergeant Lang, the agent Atlanta had wrote a story on Shawty a couple of weeks ago. They were doing, they had done an investigation on Shawty's death in the jail. Somehow the media got a hold of an internal affairs report, and they ran the story on the internal affairs report. And the internal affairs report named 4 deputies and a sergeant that were all on duty the night of the shower. And Sergeant Lang falsified the check log. Shawty in his cell for 3 hours before they even realized he was gone. And not Sergeant Lang, I don't remember what the other deputy's name was, said Shawty was slumped in a corner, and he opened the cell and fired his taser. Shawty, that was his explanation for firing the taser. And they asked him, why did he fire the taser? And he said, because he thought Shawty was faking, sleep. And he said he knows if he heard a sound like that, it would wake him up. So when Shawty didn't respond, he went in, and when he touched Shawty had already come cold. Sergeant Lang was just arrested for stealing guns from the jail that was supposed to be destroyed from the evidence room, because he was the supervisor of the evidence room or whatever. He was stealing guns and pawn them at a pawn shop. So the GBI at the time of Shawty's death was running an investigation on him for the sale and the theft of the gun. So he was demoted to corporal. At the time, he was placed in the jail, and he got, I think it was 2 days suspension and a demotion. So he was already under investigation when he was placed in the jail. And Sergeant Lang was just arrested. He resigned before the investigation was complete. So he resigned from the jail after, not too long after Shawty's death. I can't remember the exact date because I don't have the actual report, in front of me. But he resigned, and then the GBI, the next day after he resigned, filed a complaint for theft and sale of the guns the day after he resigned, which makes no sense to us. He was there all that time. So why did you wait until the day after he resigned to file a theft report or claim on him. So he turned himself into jail last week sometime. So Monday was his first appearance in court before they charged him with, I think it was 41 counts, and then he was charged with lying under oath as well. So he's being held without bond at the Rockdale County Jail.
Same jail he worked. Same jail he worked in. Probably not a pleasant experience, I would assume. Well, let me ask you a little bit about Shali. How long had it been before Shali was killed? Did you spoken? How long had it been before he was killed? Had you spoken to Shali?
We never spoke to him the entire time he was in the jail.
Wow.
That's why my husband and I went to the jail, because the way the visiting system is you go online in the visiting time, on the computer. So the visiting slots were always full. So we would call and ask, what do we do, to come and visit, because there's no slots available for us to book. So they told us we would have to come before 5:30, and it's like a first come, first serve. So you sit and wait until, I guess a computer is free where you can do your visit on, because there's no, there's no visiting room, there's no contact. It's on a computer screen at the jail. And we never talked to him. And the reason why we found out he was in jail, which that is still being looked into, it was a Saturday morning. My husband woke up. It was about 7 in the morning. My husband said, he asked me, where was Shali? So I told him, I said, he's probably asleep. And he said, no, I don't see him. So I thought he was in the shower. My husband said, no, he's not in the shower. So it was a surprise that Shali was gone that early in the morning without telling us. So we were concerned. So I told my husband, I said, well, he woke me up like 3 o'clock in the morning and asked me to bring him a diamond, which was our daughter that lived down the street. I said, maybe he went to Diamond's house. So since it was so early in the morning on Saturday, I said, later on I'll call and see if he's there, because he didn't stay out. He wasn't the average 22-year-old that hung out and didn't come home. Shali was very responsible. If he walked to the gas station at the bottom of the street, Mom, Daddy, I'm going to the store, you need anything, we always knew where he was at all the time. All of the kids, we have 2 grown daughters. And even though one didn't live home with us, she lived around the corner, but we always know where they are at all times. You get what I'm saying? So when he woke up and saw Shali wasn't home, he was concerned. I didn't get too concerned because I thought, he was at his sister's house. And our other daughter called, our daughter Tanesha called Diamond and said, is Shaw over there? And so that's when we started getting nervous, because I was like, okay, where is he? Like, there's no way he would be gone, because we didn't even know what time he left. We couldn't even pinpoint the time to when he left out, because everyone was asleep. So that's when everybody started getting nervous. My called me and said, I think Shali's in jail. Shali's in jail. He said, because somebody just called Shali's phone. Oh, that was another thing. He left his phone at home. I found the phone on the couch, because I kept trying to call him. His phone kept going straight to voicemail. So I said, this boy's phone is dead. How are we going to find out, he's okay? So my husband said, when I found the phone, I put it on the charger. Charlie's phone rang while we were gone, and his father answered it. My husband called, and he said, somebody just called Charlie's phone from jail. He said it didn't say what jail it was, and it didn't give the person's name that was trying to call. So I said, in jail? Like, what would he be in jail for? Maybe that wasn't him. You know, maybe it was a wrong number. Maybe that's why it didn't give the person's name. So my husband said, well, I don't know. Maybe you should check because he still hasn't came home. He still hasn't called. So I said, okay, let me call the jail and see. So when I called the jail, it was, you know, answering, you know, like an automated system. And Charlie was at the jail. And on the recording, it said he was being held without bond for disorderly conduct and obstruction, you know, obstruction of law enforcement or something like that. So I said, what would he be doing in jail, you know, for disorderly conduct and obstruction? But that was the only phone call that we ever received. That was the only phone call. We never had any contact. Like Charlie said, "Ma, Daddy, I'm in jail." Never. That was the only form of contact we had from the jail. And I had to Google the Rockdale County Jail just to check to see if he was in jail, because I didn't believe it, you know, because of the strange call that my husband got. That still makes no sense to us. If someone's locked up in the jail and they call home, give their name, like, why would the call drop before someone can even answer it, and you don't give your name and it doesn't say what jail they're calling from?
Wow. Well, I'm gonna go to the doc on this one because he's the expert. I'm not. Doc, what do you think is going to end up? What do you think is going to end up happening in a case like, maybe not specifically Mrs. case? You heard her, right? You heard her story. What do you think is going to end up happening?
Yes.
What do you think they're going to try to do, I should say, to try to make it seem, deflect? What are they going to do to deflect this? What are they going to do? What do you see coming, Doc?
If the case gets any high-profile media attention, first thing they're going to do is they're going to bring up something about his background, and my condolences to Ms. Tilson and her family. I see a lot of similarities between her case and Sandra Bland. I live here in Texas, and I see a lot of similarity between her case with her son and Sandra Bland. It was almost exactly the same thing that happened. She was in a cell, and they can't explain the staff why she wasn't visited and how she died under their custody. And she shouldn't have been arrested. I see very, very, very clear similarities between the two. And Bryce don't say something, and he sounds like he's an outstanding young man trying to go to school. But like Sandra Bland, they pulled up her social media, went and looked and then tried to say that she was a pothead. And that's why we have to tell our kids that social media is the devil. You have to watch what you do.
Well, see, that, you know what, and that's another thing I want to bring to everyone's attention. Charlie, when he was in high school, I want to say, I can't even remember what grade. It may have even been ninth grade. Charlie on social media didn't have anything negative, period, because he wanted to open a business and he wanted to build his brand. So even as far as friends on his social media, like, none of that was out there. Like, when you look up Charlie's social media pages, you see him with his suit on and his tie and his blazer. You get what I'm saying? So he was presenting himself. Yeah, he was presenting himself as a businessman with no negativity. And as far as marijuana, yes, Charlie did use marijuana, but it was prescribed to him for his mental illness and Providence, Rhode Island. Use it up there for medicinal use. You know, that was for his mental illness. He used to get it prescribed. He had the marijuana card. So that was his medicine. But as far as him smoking or things like that, no, he didn't do that. And since Charlie's death, I've had at least 4 or 5 activists to me. They always look for anything to try to tarnish their name. Charlie's been going 6 months. Charlie's been going 6 months now. And they all say they can't find nothing on them. That's why nothing's out there. So not one negative story as of yet. And I say, I don't know what they might dig up something when he was 12. You get what I'm saying? You know how they do. But as of yet,
that is awesome.
Yeah, since Charlie has been gone, there's not been one negative thing about him that has been printed in the press. And we've done several press conferences, you know, with our attorney team. There was just one Maria Boynton from day one. You know, Maria Boynton came to our house and interviewed us. And Maria Boynton, whenever there's something, you know, involving Charlie, she's there. You know, so V103 is constantly following Charlie's story and giving updates, you know, to in the radio as well as us being on Facebook.
That is so good you're getting the support from them. Let me share something else with you. Let me show you another strategy that they use. Say they can't find nothing bad about your son. And this, I don't know if you remember the case where that baby toddler fell in that case? Yeah. Okay, let me tell you what they did. Baby toddler wouldn't have a background, right? So you know what they did? These low lights went and started digging up stuff about the parents, particularly the father. I think the father had a couple of things he did, and they put that in the media. So when they can't find anything on the children or like your son, then what they'll do is either they'll find something on the parents, and well, his dad, and I'm not saying this in your case, Mr. Tilson, they say, well, the dad is a convicted felon. And they try to get the impression that if the dad wasn't a bad person, he wouldn't have been caught up in trouble with the law enforcement.
As if that has anything to do with it. As if that has anything to do with the boy in the cage with the gorilla light. Come on.
They did that with another case. They couldn't find anything out about the young man, so he digged up something about his mother and father. And obviously, when you get older, you don't go through life without doing anything. Everybody has a background. They started talking about the parents, and it's more of a deflection mechanism, meaning I'm going to find something if I go dig it up. I'm going to find something about the children. I'm going to find something about his brothers and sisters. I'm going to go through his school records. I'm going to find they'll go dig up stuff when he was in preschool and say he had a fight. That's how devious.
Exactly. Yep. And we're prepared for that, you know. But
that's good.
Our attorneys explained that to us, you know, when we went in. So, you know, we watch TV and listen to the radio, and we see how these cases go and what they do. So I mean, we're ready for it when it comes.
God bless.
What can we do?
God bless you. I mean, we live in a day and time where people just don't have any filter or no restraint. You're supposed to speak wise of the deceased, but when you're doing this to get people off, that has to be. We just have to, you know, pump the brakes. You shouldn't be doing that. And when you stoop so low to go through a young man's background and you can't find anything, then you say, okay, parents, I'll go get his friend. They concerned, but they're here to dodge and deflect. And then, like I said, I live here in Texas, and there's a lot of similarities between your case and Sandra Bland. A lot of similarities. And I'm surprised they didn't do a toxicology report that said they found marijuana in his system to try to imply that he was involved in criminal activity. Okay? I mean, it's devious. I mean, I'm appalled when I see those type of things. And that's why I feel strongly why I want to come to be a part of Mr. Xavier's show, because I think I want to educate the public about some of these dirty tactics that they use in these police departments. And it's really, really bad. And there should be some type of law where you shouldn't be leaking information about investigations to the public, but they're going to do what they do. It's not about justice. It's about trying to get somebody off.
But see, in Charlene's case, what I can say about the internal affairs report, the internal affairs report actually worked in our favor because it was saying what was being done. You know, they were saying the sheriff was trying to keep Charlene's death, was trying to cover Charlene's death. You know, because they asked me, like, as a matter of fact, that day, our attorneys held a press conference. If you Google all of those articles, you know, all of those press conferences should be on there. And that was about a couple weeks ago, maybe about 3 weeks ago. And as a matter of fact, Maria Boynton asked me, she said, how do you feel now hearing that Charlene's death has been a cover-up? And I said to her, we suspected that from day one. But now we heard it. You know, we heard the word today. Like, we knew that. You know, our son was dead. The first thing I started our son. I knew he was murdered. You don't have a 22-year-old walk out of his parents' home, never talk, never see his parents. And when we went to the jail, I said that to them. That officer tried to tell me Charlene never asked to use the phone. I looked at that man and my eyes just started watering. And I said, he would never be away from us for a week without calling.
Hold on, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you, Miss Tilson. Hold on, Miss Tilson, for a second. We've been joined by somebody. Hello, who is that? I believe that's Miss Robinson.
Monteria Robinson.
Hello, Mrs. Robinson. How are you?
Hey, Monteria.
Hi.
I assume you ladies know each other.
Yeah.
Well, we
My sister.
on the line, I got Dr. Miles, who's an expert on the demonization of victims of police killing. That's his specialty. Dr. Miles, this is Miss Monteria Robinson. Her son was also killed. Miss Robinson, won't you just give us an update on what's going on with your son, your story, and whatnot? Now that we have you here.
Actually, I'm not sure if Mr. Miles is aware. Like he said, my name is Monteria Robinson. My son's name was Jamarian Robinson. My son was killed August the 5th of 2016 in Atlanta, Georgia. My son was shot 76 times. My son...
Oh, dear goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. My son, but if you think about it, they would have never told me that my son was shot 76 times. And the reason I hired a forensic or I hired a ballistic person. And so my son, at the time of his death, he was at his girlfriend's apartment watching TV. His girlfriend had left the house 15 minutes prior to that, and he was just sitting there watching TV. And 15 minutes later, her door was battle ram open, and a group of road police, actually they were U.S. Marshals, opened fire on my son, and they dropped the false narrative. that he had a shootout with police. And I knew that was, a made-up gunfight or a false narrative, because I went, no, my son is a student athlete at Tuskegee University. He's a biology class, a reason to have a shootout with police. But after killing him, my mother and my two brothers arrived on the scene, and my mother was asking them, why would they do something like this? They stated that, we were looking for him from a week ago. Pointed a gun at a police officer and took off running. And then they showed my mother and my two brothers a photo, but it was not my son. My mother said, that's not my grandson. And my two brothers said, that's not my nephew. My older brother said, my nephew looks like me. And then he showed the GBI lady a photo of my son, and she asked him, could she get that photo up? And they dropped it. So that being out there, that made the public think, he crazy. He was having, but I have viewed, I just recently viewed the GBI report or the discovery package. My son was executed. My son was killed. And the gun that they're trying to say that my son had, no shot was ever fired from that gun. So who started, who stated that it was a shootout? You watched the actual video from the outside of the shooting. And when my family, and they're military people, so when we just sat there and watched it, they were like pointing at just different things. They were, some of this shooting had retreat. No one is retreating. And then, you see someone turn their back to the scene, and then they start shooting again. But the shooting lasted for 3.5 minutes. And the entire time they were yelling, put down the gun. He was there that the GBI missed that determined and study. So he was shot 76 times. Grenades were thrown at him, landing on his body, burning him. He was shot 6 times in the palm of his right hand and 5 times in the palm of his left hand. So you tell me, from just, from just those facts, to say is nothing facts.
My condolences to you, Ms. Robinson. I'm appalled at hearing this kind of stuff. I don't try to think to normalize behavior like this. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's horrific. I always, take the, it's just horrific. Now we have conversations of kids that were killed by police prior to him, like Tamira Rice. We talked about Philando Castile. We were having those conversations. So, I was always telling him to, be mindful, just of everything. So.
My goodness.
Well,
that sounds like they went to the wrong house or something.
Doc,
Doesn't even sound right.
Doc, I'm gonna come to you on Mrs. Robinson's case. What?
Yes.
I mean, what do you how could they possibly? Now I know they're going to try, but how could they possibly spin this in their favor, Doc? I mean, try. What are you looking forward to happening?
Sure. Well, thank you. That's a great question, Mr. Xavier. What they're going to do is, and Ms. Robinson, brace yourself if you haven't seen it already. What they're going to try to do is spin his image. And what that means is they're not going to. Similar to what they did in right, and they're going to try to use that in the media because police officers, not police officers, some police departments are leak information to the media, and they're going to they do it so strategically that you can't tell where it's coming from. So what they're going to do is they're going to They're going to dehumanize him. They're going to go, he did something in 1991 or whatever, marijuana possession, and he got suspended from school. First, they look at school records. They look at behavior disciplinary records from school. Then they go to college, and they go to public records.
Okay.
He had a baby with a girl. He had to go to child support. Well, they'll spin and say he went to court because he wasn't paying his child support. And what they're trying to do is a man person. Okay, tactics they're also going to use is, like, I remember listening to your story. You said that photograph they had of him, which sounds like it was a fake, okay? And y'all gave him a real photograph of your son. They're going to try to take that and use that against you. They're going to weaponize it.
Right, to make him, they want him, they're trying to make him be the actual person that, you know, they were looking for. So.
Then, absolutely. And then, they're not going to, I bet you don't know anything about these officers that did this law enforcement. You don't have their names.
Yeah, I have all that. You know, because they have filed a federal civil suit against them. But some of them do have a history of felonies within the police department itself. Like, I have all that stuff. Like, my investigators pull all the dirt on. So they're the criminal.
Now, what they're going to do is, in the media, they are not going to say anything about these officers. They better names. All they're going to say is they were law enforcement. And they're not going to give out their names.
I give their names. When I do stories, yeah. And I tell them, like, you know, but you know, news only going to report or show so much. But they have done specials on me where they will let me have about a good 7 all in my story. Let me drop names, and because they're trying to get to the bottom of this too, like, because they think it's so inhumane that they want to report the story and the facts. You follow me?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And then the next order is to okay, I can't find nothing on this kid. I'm making like a propagandist. Well, he could have been tied into drug deals in an area that's a high crime area.
Oh, wow.
They're saying he is a drug dealer. They're trying to imply it's because he was in the area that he was in. He has to be criminal activity in that area.
Okay.
These things that they do.
Right.
Please, we'll exchange information. You want to talk to me? You know, I definitely want to be same time. This is appalling.
Yeah.
And I'm telling her saying the Trayvon Martin case is a classic case on how they use black marketing and smear tactics into the family to get these people that are guilty of these shootings off, whether it's
absolutely
law or non-law enforcement. Yes,
absolutely.
And
absolutely.
And the thing of it, they don't want truth. This is a deflection from the truth. And that can happen to me. That can happen to you. You could be in a just minding your own business, living while black, and then all of a sudden somebody comes and kicks in the door and starts shooting at you.
Yeah.
Like the case that we have here in Dallas.
Right.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very
and
true.
really, that's what happened to my son. Like, he was, you know, sitting there watching Ride Along 2 when all of a sudden the door, his girl had just left her apartment 15 minutes prior to that. And next thing you know, the door burst open. So, you know, when they see the police, everybody take out their phones and start recording. And so I'm so grateful that the person recorded the actual shooting, because if I didn't have that, you know what I mean? If I didn't have that, you know, it's just like me as we know how to, like, nobody didn't have to tell me nothing, like, about my son. Like, he was shot. And I watched the video after he was shot more than 20 times. It was a made-up gunfight. You know, and I just could see it play out. You know, I could just see it and envision what happened and what I actually envisioned before I even I already knew it, but I had to prove to people kind of what hiring the experts. Because if I didn't prove it, everybody would go with their narrative.
Oh, of course. And I was going to ask you, Ms. Robinson, have they even given you an apology or anything?
No, they have not. They actually are trying to get the case dismissed, or shall I say thrown out. So they're filing motions to dismiss my case. No criminal charges have not been brought against me, only by my attorney, but it's up to the DA to prosecute them criminally. And now that we're at the 2-year mark, it's like he after again. So I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert, but I'm not, let's say I'm not ignorant, I'm not slow, I'm not a dummy, but so just reading the facts in the discovery package, my son was executed, he was killed military style. It's all there, it's all written in the report. So it doesn't take a rocket science to say we need to charge these rogue officers, because they're not police officers, they're rogues. I call them gangs to kill our kids. That's what they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have not charged them with. They have not been indicted. They have not been charged criminally for murder. It's murder. It was murder.
Absolutely. What's your relationship with the district attorney or the prosecutor? What's going on with him?
Well, actually, I don't know, because it's like they call me, I call back, getting on the phone. They'll say, "Oh, okay, well, we're gonna, schedule an appointment for you to come in and meet with them." Okay, let's make that happen. But they keep giving me dates. They call back, they cancel. We'll call you back with another date once we find out what his schedule is. They never call back. I call them back again. They say, "Okay, well, we'll look at it again," and it's like that going back and forth type thing. So.
Y'all have never met him in person?
I sat down with him twice, but that's been over a year ago.
Yes, and I met with Alicia Johnson. We had a meeting with her 10 days after she had received Shawnee's case from the GBI. And I also talked to her last Thursday. She actually called me last Thursday, So I had spoke to her.
I'm just amazed, Ms. Robinson, that you haven't had more ongoing contact with the prosecutor. That sounds really suspicious.
Well, you know what? These are his people. These are people that work for him, too. That's how I look at it. So is he going to indict his own officers like they his county?
Yes.
Well, Doc.
I'm really shocked.
Dr. Miles, let me ask you this, Doc.
Yes, sir.
When you go, when you hear a case like this, right? Say these cases finally get an indictment and an arrest, and it goes to trial, and they call you in. They call you in as an expert witness. You might be one of the expert witnesses on the Botham Jean case, right? You might be getting called in on that one, right?
Yeah, I've been waiting to hear back from them. I've been contacting them. I should be hearing something back probably next week. But
so what?
The same pattern.
So what do you do, Doc, when you go in there and you get called in as an expert witness? I mean, what do you come in there and do? Do you lay out the person's personality? Do you lay out the likelihood that they may or may not have done this? I mean, explain to us what you do when they call you in on one of these police shooting cases.
That's a great question, Mr. Xavier. What I do when I go in, I get called in by, say, an attorney. If I work sometimes I work for the plaintiff, sometimes I work for the defendant. And when I go in, most likely a case like this one will be a criminal case. I haven't seen these civilly yet, because they usually go before you can go to the civil, because they want to go minimize damage. What I do is when I go in, is I tell them the patterns that I see the law enforcement departments engage in. And I outline characteristics that I see, and I say what I see in terms of how they strategically leak information to the media, how they the image of the victim, how they create fake information about the victim, how they run a market case. I lay all of that out, and I say, this is what I see as an expert, and this is why when I'm talking to a jury, how do you unlearn something that you've learned? They try to get out in front of the media before the family does, or before the say they're playing defense, right? People believe the first story that they hear, and anything else that they hear in terms of a second story, then they either discount it or it confirms the first story. So they try to do in these cases, they try to put all the narrative about punish, like we were talking about earlier, potential grand jury in the court. I say what behavior that I see the departments engage in. And I give examples. I have a framework that I use, somewhat of a theoretical framework that I use. And I say, I see these same patterns that were done in prior cases, and they totally engage in this. It's not them. It's a victim's name that has trouble. The trick is to make sure that whatever image that they put out there, or whatever, it doesn't tarnish, it doesn't solidify that into the juror's mind. Like, case in point, the pictures of them was put Trayvon Martin out there when they took it off the social media page where he had the grill or the goatee, and then people take that and run with it. See, he should have got shot. Look at how he looks. He's not an upstanding young man. He looks like he's a wannabe thug. They're actually saying about Trayvon Martin. Okay? They did that to him about children. I have to go in and I have to humanize the victim to the jury or to the people in court, because they want to say, okay, he should have been shot because look at the type of person he was. Because what they do, Mr. Xavier, they work backwards. They say he was like this, so that justifies why we had to do what we did, even though it's obviously not justified. And then the other trick that they use is, now I've heard this, yell, put down the gun while they're shooting you to imply that you have a gun.
Correct. Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
correct. Yeah, absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I would say we know those are the false narratives that they use. We become
absolutely
accustomed to them. So when we hear it, put down a gun, like now when I hear that stuff, I already know. Especially if you can't see turn their body cameras off for my son. Me, how I'm going to believe your story? So the burden of proof is on me. I'm going to prove what happened to my son. What I'm saying, the brother is not going to believe your story because y'all turned your body cameras off. So how can we believe what you say when we have seen so many times, played out, Philando Castile, Eric Garner, we've seen it played out. So we know that you all come with the lies and the false narratives.
Yeah, and also what Charlie, when they told us Charlie was deceased, we were never able to identify him. When they came to our home and told us Charlie was deceased, they gave our daughter, because, my husband and I were hysterical. We went in the room, and our daughters, they kept it together. They talked to the sheriff, that was there in our home, and they had given our daughter paper with the GBI agent name and number. They already had him. So our daughters, I didn't find this out until the next day. And they told our daughter they had found Charlie unresponsive and hit. But that evening, when the story hit AJC newspaper, it said Charlie's time of death was 8:45 p.m. So we were like, wait a minute. They said they found him deceased that morning. Because our daughters also asked, if he died early this morning, why would you wait till the next day to tell us? You know what I'm saying? Which didn't make any sense. And then we went, so when we went to the GBI, so after they all left, I said to my husband, we're going to that jail because I know they know how he looks like. So I called the jail and told them we were on our way. And they told us Charlie wasn't there. He was in, he was at the GBI at the night. So they gave me the number to the morgue at the GBI. When I called the morgue at the GBI, they said the morgue didn't open until maybe 2:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. So we stayed up. And sister came, my niece, our house was full. Probably about 7:30 later on that morning, we went to the GBI because we wanted to see our son. And the GBI told us they were a no-view site. We wouldn't be able to see Charlie. We weren't leaving until we saw our son. I said, because how do we even know that that's our son? How can someone come to our house, tell us our son's deceased, and we never even identify him? I said, if we don't need to see our son, then I'm calling the media. So they asked if we wanted to speak to a supervisor. They called the supervisor. The supervisor, that time they put us in this, because there was a lot of us. So they put us in the conference room. The supervisor told us we couldn't see him, but they could provide us with a photo of Charlie. I said, I want a full body photo because I want to make sure that's our son. I said, he has a tattoo on his left arm. I didn't say what the tattoo was, but I got son. So she said, they can't provide a full body photo. Like, they're not allowed to disclose a full body photo, but they could provide a photo of Charlie from the neck up. And
that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
When they brought the photo in, and we also have a 13. She was 12 at the time, and our 2-year-old grandson was with us also. The supervisor stood in the doorway. She had the envelope in her hand with the photo in it. And I thought they were going to put the photo on the table for my husband and I to do. They didn't. She took the photo out and held it up in the air. Held it up for everyone to see it. And everybody was hysterical.
Oh my goodness.
Charlie's eyes were bulging out of his head. His jaw was crooked, like or fractured. His lips were busted, both lips, top and bottom. He had blood on his mouth. He had a bump on his head. His head looked disfigured. Like, it didn't, like, I was in shock. I didn't expect, and my husband was a few feet away in front of me, and I was standing in back of him. And our daughter was in back of me. And she screamed, my screamed, why face looked like that. What's wrong with his eyes? And that's all I remember. Like, I felt slipping into the floor. Like, I couldn't move. I couldn't go to him, and I couldn't turn around and go to our baby. And I just remember, you know, everything going black. And then I found out later on that day, my daughters and my sister said, in the GBI. Like, I hit the floor after I saw that photo.
I'm curious, why wouldn't she let you put the photo in?
Touch it. Sister said, she asked to look at it again, and she told my sister, you know, she couldn't view it again. It was probably, I remember after I came to, I tried to snatch the envelope from her. And I was like, I knew they murdered our son. And she said, we could photo. And our attorney in May, when we had the meeting with the GBI, had never viewed that because the GBI was holding everything and anything that had to do with Shawty's case. So they had never even seen a photo that we saw. Heard about it. Yeah, they heard about it because we told them what we saw when we went to the GBI. So that was, and when we were at that meeting, the GBI said at the time of autopsy, Shawty didn't have any visible wounds on his body, and I pointed at him and I said to him, you can look me and my husband in our face and say, Shawty didn't have any injuries on him at the time of autopsy. I said, we saw that photo here in a room. Like, we were in the same room where we had the conference with the GBI, the Rockdale County Sheriff, his man, you know, it was a good 15 people in this meeting that didn't include myself, my husband, our two daughters, and Amber. Like, this was all GBI people and the Rockdale County Sheriff people. So it was a room full of people. And he just looked at me, you know, kind of stunned. Oh no, he said, well, he have say when I sit down, how can you sit there and look my husband and I in the face and say, Shawty didn't have, and he mentioned something. I don't know, but I said that one of the investigators from you guys tried to say it was the rigor mortis had said that's what made
so rigor mortis made his head disfigured.
Yeah.
Rigor mortis made his lips busted.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm assuming. See, I didn't hear that part because
that's total BS.
That's what he was saying there anymore, because at that moment I realized where we are going to cover up our son's death. Because I honestly had, you know, and I'll say this, I hate to admit that I am naive when it comes to things like this. My husband and I are saying they didn't trust anybody. they don't trust anybody and trust or the sheriff that run the jail, because I knew they murdered our son. But I had GBI would be on our side because they were, you know, supposed to be an outside agency. But at that moment, it was clear to me that they're always somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they are.
That is definitely.
There's so where the Charlie,
Each other.
yeah, exactly. Charlie case, and like what you said, that the case is in the district attorney's, I guess it's sitting in the district attorney's file cabinet now, right?
Well, when I spoke to her last week, I, you know, expressed my concerns to her. I told her, I said, you know, we see these cases and they investigate them for years. And she said, I assure you, it's not going to take years. She said, my investigation is moving full steam. She said, I have the best people. I have the best experts. She said, and everybody is getting interviewed. You going to bed? Good night, baby. She said, everyone is getting interviewed. So, I mean, I'm not going to say I trust her. I'm not going to say, I'm just saying, you know, I'm being cautious. You know, I'm thinking the good and the bad. I don't know. We don't know which way this investigation could go, because at the end of the day, she holds the power to make a decision. Because what I also want people to understand is we're not talking about somebody that was found dead on the street. Charlie was in a jail. A jail is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we're most that were in charge of his care. Tell me those 5 deputies that they put up on TV, show their pictures, show their names. No, it's bigger than that. You have a medical staff that is staffed in the jail. Those 5 deputies weren't in charge of Charlie for the 9 days he was in that jail. Because we honestly believe, when I looked at that photo of my son, and I never repeated it to my husband, to our daughters, I didn't say anything. Coming back, my daughter Diamond and I were sitting in the back seat, and Diamond looked at me and she said, he's been gone. And I couldn't even say anything, because when I saw that picture, I knew he had been gone. And I said this multiple times, until we see actual video of our son dying on the 12th, our son died. Now, I think Charlie was already gone, because there's too many coincidences. Like, why was it a Friday my husband and I went to the jail, and it just so happened Charlie was supposed to have died the Monday when he was supposed to have the visit? It doesn't make sense.
Well,
so they happened to die. No.
I'm sorry. Because in the Sandra Bland case here in Texas, they actually had videotape. Let me tell you what they did.
Yeah.
They altered
it. Yeah.
And they blanked out.
Yeah. And that's what I told the DA what we're concerned about. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, when I speak to them, I don't hold back. I speak the truth. I say, my family and I don't feel comfortable about the video. It's been too long. They could have done anything with that. They could have altered it. They could have deleted it. It does say March 12th. My husband, before he had a stroke, this is my husband's second stroke. My husband is an IT major. You get what I'm saying? This is what he did for a living. So I seen what my husband can do on the computer and Photoshop and all the other programs he uses. So I know what can be done. So do you think video from March to almost October is going to be the same, or if it even exists? And I asked her, when is the video going to be released for us to view it? We want to see the video. She said that she was reviewing some of the videos before she called me. That was part of the jail footage, and she told our attorney that she didn't tell me this, but she told our attorney that another 3 weeks.
But she can't let you see the video that she saw, right?
No, not until I guess. Well, she told our attorney when she's finished reviewing the video, because as long as the GBI is saying it's still an ongoing investigation, nothing is going to be released. Like the GBI, they're not going to give us, the GBI is not going to give us anything. Wow. So the only one that can give us the video is the DA. So after she gets done reviewing everything and says she's finished with her investigation, that's when she'll turn everything over to our attorney.
She can't bring you guys in and have a viewing of the video. You're not asking for possession of it. You're just asking to see it. She can't bring you into a video room where you can review the video that they allegedly have. But she's not telling you that, I assume, right?
No, she did tell me she has it. Yeah, she told me she has the video. And she said she had been watching some of the footage before she called me. But she never, no, she didn't, she never said that she would let us come in and show it to us. So I don't know if she's let our attorney see it. Well, then again, no, because I know he would have mentioned it.
Well,
exactly.
Well, we have Miss Robinson back on the line, and let me ask you this, Mrs. Robinson: have you faced similar stuff? You know, roadblocks and doctored videotapes and all combination. And have you faced that kind of stuff as well in Jamarian's case?
What you mean, like how I guess I came in on the tail end.
Yeah, have you?
You mean, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, have you had this, job, give you false documents, give you doctored up videotapes, tell you a bunch of lies and try to say this happened and really that happened? Have you ran into that in Jamaica?
No, not that, because really you have to remember I hired my own people, so I've only utilized the documentation, that we have gotten from our experts. So, no, as of yet, not that I'm aware of, because, like I said, my attorney is handling, the civil case. I just know that they are filing motions to have it dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So my attorney has been filing, motions back, in reference to their dismissal. So, he has to write a rebuttal back as to why the judge should not dismiss it.
Wow.
The judge is trying to dismiss it, Ms. Robinson?
No, not the judge. I guess it goes, it goes before the judge,
The district attorney, prosecutor, rather.
Actually, from my understanding, it goes to the judge. It sits on the judge's desk probably for a couple of weeks, and then he decides, what he's going to do with it. It's either yay or nay. So I just know that they have so much time to respond back in reference to their motion.
I got a question. Somebody's asking a question, Doc, in the chat.
Go ahead.
They want to know, when you get public support, to have these videos and footage released? Does it help? Should we start campaigns, flood social media and YouTube each time?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And Monteria and I have been in 2 protests together. And that public pressure does work. We had a protest outside the Rockdale County Jail in June, and that was the first protest that we had outside the jail, and they were flooding the DA's line. They were flooding the jail lines. Like, you know, people were flooding their social media, their Facebook page. Like, people were flooding, and then things started to come out. So that's why we asked the public to get involved and ask people, you know, help us keep that pressure on them. Like I was on a radio show in New York. They invited me on. I think I was on there maybe 2-3 times. I gave the telephone numbers to the DA, to the Rockdale County Sheriff's Department, to the GBI. I gave all of those numbers on air, and I asked them, you know, help us keep the pressure on them. Because at that time, Alicia Johnson hadn't had the case in her hand. So after that protest, like, people think protesting doesn't work. It actually does. Because when you start applying that pressure, people start to get nervous. You know, when the public gets involved and people are marching, they're blowing up phone lines, and you can't even make a call. You know, you can't get a call and you can't make a call. That's a problem. You know, so people, you know, when they start feeling uncomfortable, when you make people uncomfortable, things start to happen. It might not happen as fast as we want it to, but that pressure being applied does help. And, you know, we had a protest on the Monteria, what was it, the 17th Street Bridge?
Yeah.
We had, the 17th Street Bridge, and, you know, we shut the bridge down. And a lot of things have been happening in everybody's cases. Like I said, you keep that pressure on them, they don't like that. You make people feel uncomfortable, things start to happen. So now it has brought attention to a lot of cases that have happened in Georgia that we didn't even know about. Like Monteria and I, that was the first time I heard of Monteria's case. And I live in Georgia. I've been living here for 10 years. I didn't hear about Monteria's son's case until I think it was 2 or 3 days before we were invited to that protest. And we got sent a flyer, and Shali's name in picture, you know, was on the flyer. And then it said Jamarion Robinson, and, you know, it had his picture. And my daughter was the one that showed me Jamarion's case. And I said, you know, like, we live here. How come I didn't hear about this? So now,
I'm curious.
Everybody in Georgia.
Wow. Well,
yes,
there's a lot of cases in this state people don't know about.
There are.
Keep it out of the media.
There are. This is why we do what we do. We want people to know about these stories, even though the headlines. Somebody got the TV on in the background. Turn the TV down back there. somebody got the TV on. This is why. Well, what I was saying was, this is why we do what we do. You know, we want to keep some focus on these stories. Miss Tilson, this is the first time you've been on my airways. Miss Robinson has been here before. Her and other mothers of police victims have been here, and I have told them before that you know, that my platform is always open to you ladies. If you have an update on your son's case, or updates on the police who murdered him, feel free to get in contact with me, because you have my information. Like I said, the doors of T.P.O.T are always open to you ladies. I appreciate you coming on tonight. You as well, Miss Robinson. I know I hit you up at the last minute, but you still managed to show up, so I appreciate that. Yes, Miss Tilson and Miss Robinson, I appreciate you ladies showing up, and I appreciate your courage and your fight. And I'll say again that, you know, if you ever need T.P.O.T, you know, to get a message out, feel free to get in contact with me. Okay, ladies?
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, ladies.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye.
Pretty rough stuff, Doc.
Yeah.
But this is what we do here, Doctor. This is what we do here.
Yeah. How long is your show usually? Like 2 hours?
Yeah. We about to wrap it up in a few minutes, but before you go, I want you to, because I know you got some speaking engagements coming up. So I want you to tell the folks, you know, where you're going to be, and tell them about your book. And when do I get my copy, Doc? When do I get my... All right.
I'm going to be at the, in October, I think the 26th to the 28th. I'm going to be in Charlotte. I'm going to be at the 2018 Black Doctor Network Conference. I'm going to be one of the keynote speakers. And I'm doing a couple of presentations. I'm actually part of a workshop that we're doing on sexual harassment and black males. And my piece of that workshop is I'm doing my part on Bill Cosby. You might come check that out.
Yeah, T.P.O.T gonna be in the house, y'all. You know, if y'all are interested, because we're gonna be down there with all our equipment and all that kind of stuff. So, you know,
we might have to do a quick interview.
You know we are, Doc. Doc, you already know. You already know, Dr. Miles.
Sure. I look for, and I'm gonna get your autographed copy of the book that I'm doing a book signing on. I'm supposed to be at Barnes and Nobles up there. I'm doing a book signing for the book, The PhD Game, the Confessions of a Black Academic, and I'm gonna be up there. And definitely, Mr. Xavier, you got an autographed copy coming from me. I just can't wait to meet you in person, and I'll hook you up.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it, Doc. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And but I'm touched by those two stories. I'm shocked and touched at the same time. We don't live in a wild west anymore, and I don't know if you've been keeping up with the statistics out there, but crime is down.
Yes.
Especially in black communities.
Yes, it is.
Why do we have all this stuff about? You know, this ain't the Rifleman. This ain't those Western shows that come on TV. We don't have a need for all this violence from the law enforcement. And we don't have. You can't train them out of it. And a lot of the law enforcement guys, ex-military, and I think that we need to re-examine the hiring practices, because this is happening way too often.
Yes.
And when I was listening to Mrs. Robinson's story, it sounds like they went to the wrong house. That doesn't make any sense.
And even if they were at the right house, they shot that young man 76 times. 76 bullets. Really? Really?
And he's probably unarmed. That's some cowardly men that did that. Okay, you're not no law enforcement person. You're a cowardly man to do that. Shoot an unarmed man 76 times. Really?
Unbelievable, man.
Until you know, law enforcement, and I didn't get to say this earlier as part of the black marketing thing I was telling you about, Mr. Xavier. It's very hard to prosecute law enforcement.
Yes. Yes.
You have to go civil.
Yep.
Because they got loopholes that you would not believe. He feared for his life.
Yep.
You could be sitting in an ice cream parlor eating vanilla ice cream. He feared that you're going to throw ice cream on him. That's how ridiculous it's getting, okay? And you really got my attention with this. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm going to have to come back, and I'm going to have to, I'm shocked. I cannot believe some of the injustices that are going on with some of these law enforcement.
Oh, Doc, this is actually I only had a few of the ladies that have been on my panel. I've had countless mothers of police victims. I mean, Taylor's been on my show. Miss Robinson, Daphne Robinson, Miss Benjamin, Gina Best has been on my show. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, Doc. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. I mean, I brought those ladies on because those ladies, well, Miss Robinson had been on my show before, and Miss Tilson, she's actually a new one because it's not like you ever run out of these people. So, you know, she was a new person that's been on my show lately, and I met her actually through Miss Robinson, and I figured I had you on, the specialist, so I would get a couple of the ladies, you know, have a couple of the ladies on, you know, so you can tell them, you know, what to expect and, you know, what's going on, and, you know.
I appreciate it. I do this. I do it again if you ask me.
Yeah.
We need to arm our people and give them some bullets in their guns, because these people, remember, when they put those negative images and stories out there, they're not doing it because they're trying to be fair. They're doing it because they're trying to criminalize victims of these crimes. And if they can't criminalize the victims, they try to criminalize the family. And you know, we can't allow this to go on anymore. That's why I want to come onto your show and discuss this, because I'm here to give any knowledge or anything I can do to help people. Because it's really appalling to me to see these type of things. And I don't know if when you look at these situations, it's a common thread. The common thread is to get the people to blame the victim, find something about the victim's past, and use that, and as you taint the potential jurors, bam, we got an acquittal. We got him. He beat the rap. You got to stop that.
Yeah.
Okay. And either you gonna kill somebody, you gonna have to pay money. It doesn't work like that. This isn't the Wild West. Okay. You commit a crime, it's gonna be economically unfeasible for you to perform as you can. Now there's a talk about making law enforcement get malpractice insurance for doctors, like doctors do.
Yeah.
They probably need to do that. I think that needs to happen. That definitely needs to happen.
Yeah.
You shoot somebody, you shot somebody you shouldn't have, you'll have to pay. And this needs to come out of your pension. It needs to come out of, when you start taking money out of your paycheck, you're going to start seeing a lot of these shootings go down. And they're going to have to do something. It's becoming a common practice. They're going to have to do something. They even shoot white folks now.
Yeah, right. Shooting white folks.
When you start tapping that guy's money, his retirement, you start tapping the guy his paycheck, you're gonna start seeing this stuff stop happening. That's the only way it's gonna stop.
Yep.
Because now, with the way it is, the system the way it is now, it basically insulates them.
Yeah, they always protect it, but I want to thank you, Dr. Miles, for coming through, Doc. I know you're a busy man. I enjoyed it. Thank you for having me on your show. Yeah, and I'm gonna see you in October, Doc. You're gonna be down in my area. You know I gotta come down. Doc. Yeah. Do a quick interview, man, on camera. Do a quick on-camera interview, man. You know, after your.
I appreciate it. We can. You're really gonna like the Bill Cosby thing. I'm gonna do.
I'm pretty sure. So what day is it? What day is it again, Doc? What day is it?
I'll be there Friday the 26th.
Okay.
I'll be there. I think I'll be there Friday and Saturday. And I do my keynote address, I think, on the 26th, which will be Saturday.
Okay.
And I'll definitely I'm gonna get your autographed copy of the book, and I want you to have it personally for me.
Okay.
I want to definitely meet you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Send me a little reminder, Doc. You know, I have a lot of stuff going on, so you know, hit me like with a little reminder, like a day or two before, you know, so I don't forget. I got it marked down, but I still may need a little reminder because I want to come up there, listen to you talk your thing. Okay.
Send you a link to the website, and then we'll keep in touch.
Yeah. Just email it. Email it to me or text it or whatever. You got my information, Doc. You got everything. So
I'll email you the link when we get off
okay.
The call. But yeah, I'm gonna even take care of you. Y'all got you.
All right, man.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. Xavier.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Miles, for coming through, man. And you gotta come back, Doc. You gotta come back.
Anytime.
I love having doctors on my show, boy. I love it. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you in October, Doc. And like I said, you know, email me that link, and you know, we'll link up, man. T.P.O.T is always open to you, Dr. Miles. All right.
I sure appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Thank you. All right, brother. You too. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we just got off the line with old Doc Miles. I mean, the Doc's a good dude, man. He's really down to earth too, man. And it's crazy because he's not only a PhD, man. The Doc got like the 55 letters behind his name. So he's a doctor, he's a this, he's a that, he's all kinds of mess. So, and he's a really down to earth dude. And like I said, he's probably going to be one of the dudes to be called in as a he's going to be called in because he's in Texas. He's going to be called in more than likely as a expert witness on the Jean case, the Boston John case, you know, where the white female police officer shot this man down in his apartment while he was just sitting there, and supposedly, oh, I thought it was my apartment, and I looked in there and I thought it was a burglar or somebody, and I shot him, you know, some old stupid mess. But yeah, he's supposed to be getting called as a special witness in that case. You know, the Doc's been around. Y'all need to look him up. His name is Dr. D.Anthony Miles. The Doc got a pretty good portfolio, man. And he's a good dude too. And like y'all heard him say, he gonna be right here in the old Queen City. And of course, T.P.O.T media is gonna be down there with their cameras, you know, kicking the shit with the Doc. You know, yeah. But anyway, I want to thank y'all for coming through tonight. I mean, I know I bring y'all some riveting graphic stuff at times, but y'all know it's kind of gritty here at T.P.O.T. This is how we do it. Once again, I want to thank Miss Robinson and Miss Tilson for coming through and sharing their stories with us. I want to thank all my mods in the chat doing what they're supposed to do always. And also, I want to thank you for showing up tonight and spending some time with us. Now, what I need you to do is get on down there to the Prophet of Thought series. That's Prophet of Thought, one word series. The next word on Facebook. That's Prophet of Thought series on Facebook. Get on to the main Facebook page. Go ahead, like, share, follow. Check it out. It's always something good on there. You can keep up with what's going on with T.P.O.T. That's our main page. It's a community page. So stop on by the Prophet of Thought series page on Facebook and see what we got going on. Also, stop by the T.P.O.T bandwagon page. Now, that's a personal page. You can actually send that page a friend request, and I'll make sure it gets accepted. Also, make sure you get on down there to the T.P.O.T fan group page. That's the Prophet of Thought series fan group page on Facebook. I think we up to about 2,700, 2,800 members now. Go ahead, request to be a member. You'll get accepted quick. I promise. There's always some good stuff down there because it is a fan group page. It's not just OX down there running his mouth. There's other people in the fan group page. So guess what? It's other folks down there running their own mouths too. So get on down there and check it out. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's the Prophet of Thought on Instagram. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. You guaranteed to get a follow back. And also, we talk about this every damn week. Get on down here to Twitter and follow us on our Twitter page. It's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. Get on down there and follow us on our Twitter page. I'm going to haunt your black ass in your sleep tonight. Also, get on down there to the Popular Thought Series website, www.don'teventryi.wikifoundry.com. Get on down there and check it out. It's always something good down there. And make sure you stop by the old Tribute to the Fallen page, because we have honored most of these ladies' sons, if not all of them, on that page. It's something that's very dear and important to me. Get on down there and check it out. And also get on down there and check out Teacher Tanisha's online store, Water and Wind. That's right, Water and Wind. Go on down there, look through the flicks. If you can't get in contact with Teacher Tanisha, you can always hit me up if you want to make a purchase. She's got a lot of stuff down there, too much damn stuff for me to mention up here. Y'all, I'll be here till tomorrow. But you got to get on down there. Get on down to www.don'teventryi.wikifoundry.com. Get on down there. Get to the site, click Water and Wind, and you can see Teacher Tanisha's supply. You go through photos. She's got about 4 or 5 pages of jewelry, hats, socks, stones, black soap, spices, all kinds of stuff. So y'all gotta get down there and look at it, because there's too much stuff for me to explain. All right. Anyway, once again, I want to thank everybody for coming through tonight, spending some time with us. I want to thank you for watching. And once again, I want to thank Miss Robinson and Miss Tilson and the guest of honor, Dr. D.Anthony Miles, for coming through and dropping some of those nuggets on us. So, with that, I will leave you. Oh, yeah, tomorrow, God, I almost forgot, because y'all know Thursday nights is DXL, Dark Exodus Live. Tomorrow in the house, we will have author Russell Van in the house. I know y'all heard of his books. He wrote Ghetto Bastard, and he also wrote Ghetto Bastard 2. He's actually got another book coming out. He's got the Ghetto Bastard series sequel coming out in the fall. Look him up. Russell Van will be right here. T.P.O.T. right here. DXL Thursday night. Author Russell Van will be in the house, same time, same station. So have your black behinds here tomorrow as well. It's going to be good, y'all. It's going to be dark, because y'all know Thursday is Dark X Live. But anyway, with that, I will leave you with 3 words. Like I always do, open your minds. And we are out of here, y'all.
The Prophet of Thought series.
Peace, folks.